Hey everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery. Got a product video for you today. Wanted to tell you about the brand new B3 Archery Exact Target Q2 sight. This is a sight that's primarily intended for target archery, and it is loaded with features. Lots of great things that B3 did to get this target sight. This is going to be one that we expect to see a lot of because this does a lot of the things that target archers want. So first off, we'll tell you, it is a target sight, so it is the sight only. I put a scope on this one just for aesthetics so you can see it as I'm talking about, but it is just the sight. The scope would be separate. There are two versions. You can see here I have the standard dovetail version, and then over here, this one is one that has the Bridgelock sight bar on there. So any of those bows, pretty much now it's only the Matthews bows, the newest Matthews bows, that have that Bridgelock cutout in the riser. This is going to be the version that you're going to use for those bows. Otherwise, you can mount this on any bow standard with those screws there. And so B3, this is a new sight bar system for them. They have this, it's just a two-handle lock that gives you better leverage than when there's a whole bunch of them. You can really crank down on these two to get this nice and tight. And what you're going to notice is that as it moves from position to position, there is a click. You can feel it click into position so that you know you're in the exact right spot where you need to be, and then you can crank it down. Of course, each one of those, they are numbered as well, so you can know, I need to be on position number 4. That's where my sight needs to be. So that's just a great locking system they have there. Really gets that sight bar locked into place. It is an aluminum bar, and there's a reason for that. B3 found this to be even stronger than some of the carbon bars because, if you have a carbon bar, eventually it has to connect to a piece of aluminum to connect to the rest of the sight. Well, when you take that connection out, the aluminum B3 found is even stronger. And one of the first cool things they did here is the sight bar comes up and you're going to see these two screws right here. That is your third axis adjustment. Third axis, of course, is what affects your scope this way. Typically, where we see this third axis adjustment is on the back side, and it only adjusts your scope. Well, the folks at B3 said, if you make an adjustment there, then you're taking it out of being 90 degrees with your vertical bar, your elevation bar. So by moving the third axis here, you're never changing the perspective of the scope to your elevation bar. Both of those will move together now when you make your third axis adjustment. So that's a great feature, new feature there from the folks at B3. Then your second axis adjustment, which is adjusting your scope this way, you're of course going to have your first one here. That makes sure that elevation bar is perfectly vertical. And then you are going to have on the back here the typical two others. That affects only your scope. So you're going to, when you're leveling a sight, you're going to make sure that vertical bar is vertical. That's your first adjustment, second axis. And then you come over here. This is your second adjustment, second axis. And of course, then you come to your third axis. Okay, so sticking with the elevation bar, you can see this is wider than we're used to seeing with some target sights. And B3 has all these holes on here where you can mount the sight bar to, and you can see you've got left and right. So if you find that you need a little bit more, you're not getting quite enough out of the scope rod that's on here, you need to adjust it one way or the other, you can do that. And obviously you can change that height, so you can get your peep height, your distance, whatever distance you want to shoot. Multiple options there for where you can mount this sight. Now, sticking with the vertical bar there. So something else that B3 did. So one of the first things you're going to notice is the clicks are super precise with this. There is no slop in these, and it is micro adjust. I mean, these clicks are just really precise. It is 30 clicks per revolution. To get a full revolution of the top turret is 30 clicks around, and each one moves the indicator about 1/1000th of an inch. So what that does is just allow you to really get this scope positioned exactly where you want it. You know, you can go down to half yards, quarter yards. You can just really dial this to exactly the distance that you need it. So something else cool that they have new is a micro adjust sight indicator. So, you know, we're used to having our sight scale indicator right here. And a lot of times, you know, it's just on a sliding bar. Well, actually, they have one on the back here. This is what we're used to seeing. You just loosen that screw and slide it up and down. And, you know, it can fall, it can get into the wrong spot. When you tighten the screw down, the indicator can move. So B3 came out with a micro adjust. And right in here, you're going to see a locking screw. I've already loosened it. Once I loosen that locking screw, I can just turn this dial to get that indicator to move. You can see it's going up right now. Turn it the other way, it comes down. When I get it to exactly where I want it, lock it into place, and then that thing is not moving. Super, you know, just a great feature to the sight there. Now, what I will tell you, let's say you don't like it on this side. You'd rather have this on your sight scale on the outside. You can remove this. You can swap these. It actually came in the package oriented the other way, and I took it off and brought it around to this side, and you get an indicator. That's one of the things that you get in the pack. You can see this one would be oriented for this side of the sight, and they give you the one to put on the back side. So you can have your normal indicator on either side. But so that micro adjust just allows you to really dial that in with precision and not have to worry about it moving. Sticking with the sight scales, you know, we were talking about the two sides. So you are going to get one of the typical numbered sight scales over here. And so these are the sight scales. Some folks use them. You know, you're just you'll have your sight scale that is set for speed, for your bow speed. And then on the back side, you can get your numbered marks. Some folks like to have two references. So, you know, you set it for 43 here, you flip it over, and you know it's like 17.3 on this side. Once you get it, you know, you line this sight tape up with your dial up top, you can set it to your number and then, you know, go 3 clicks. So it's like I mentioned, 17.3, 3 clicks. Just some folks like to do it that way, but most of us are going to stick with just the yardage tape, which you will get. It's 11 of these engraved sight tapes. They're two-sided. In the pack, you're going to get a total of 11. You will also get 15 paper sight scales on there. You do get multiple positions. You can move that sight tape up or down. So one thing that I do like about the traditional pointer here, I can hold it up, I don't know if you can see it, but oftentimes that's just a thin piece of metal. And so it can move, as I mentioned, when you're tightening down the screw. But if you can see this, this is actually a thick blade. This is the way it's going to sit on your scale. So you're going to read your number here. But look at how thick that is. So that makes that much more durable, and it prevents it from twisting side to side. So B3, what they did here is that scale is actually in a slotted receiver. So when you loosen this screw, it can't pivot this way. Because it's in a channel there that holds it in place, if you just loosen it, the only way you can move it is up and down. Again, these are just little things, little features that mean a lot. If you play with these sights, if you've set them up enough, you know the little issues that come up with things like that. And so B3 addressed it. continuing on, with our adjustments, your elevation and your windage, you do have the locking knob there. Loosen that. I can move that up and down, get it into position, lock that into place, and then it's not moving. Your windage is down here, and now we have a new cool feature here as well. Of course, this is my locking knob. Super precise again with that adjustment. But here's what I wanted to show you. You can see this slot in here. There's actually a barrel that sits in it underneath this lock. So when I lock this down, it shoves that barrel down into that channel, and that's what locks it into place to keep it from moving. So it's a positive contact. You're not just pressing in on a rounded surface. You're actually pushing that little gold barrel there into this slot. Just again, to keep things locked into place. It's not going to slide. Something else, something that I like that B3 does is on this side here is it tells you which way to turn this knob to drive the scope in or out. I don't know about the rest of you out there, but I forget all the time. And what I have to do is turn it, see which way it moves, and then I know which way I have to go. Hopefully I remember the number of clicks to get it back to where I wanted it to be. Well, it's nice to have a visual reminder that I can just see, I got to turn it forward to get the scope to move in, and I turn it back towards me to get the scope to go out. Again, little things. We do have a quick disconnect right here, and this is a unique type of quick disconnect that I personally haven't really seen before. You can see we have a screw there, so I take this out. Once I take that screw out, then I slide the scope out this way. So you can see this is a dovetail, slotted dovetail. And there's your receiver on the inside there. That's how it locks into place. I mean, that is a positive lock. You can be sure when you put this back in and screw it in place, it's going into exactly the same place every time. So, that's to allow you to do that if you're traveling and you don't want to have your scope in your bow case. You can just take that off. Real simple. Now, going back to our vertical bar, something I wanted to talk to you about. So the clicks, some folks like this click system to be really smooth and light. Other people like a little resistance there just to know that it's not going anywhere. You can change the feel of how this scope system moves up and down as you go through your clicks. Right here, you're going to see 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4 on this block. Tighten those in. Obviously, you're making things tighter, and it's going to increase the amount of resistance. Loosen them, and you're making this looser so that it moves more freely. Just personal preference. It's great that you're able to set that the way you like it. All right, so the sight bar here. So this is 7 inches long, and the sight itself, take the scope off. The sight itself weighs about 8 ounces. The Bridgelock version weighs a little bit under 8 ounces, but that's the weight you're talking about, and that's still pretty light for a target sight. And if, B3, they're based in Kentucky, you can see right there, made in the USA. If that's something that is important to you, you can rest assured that B3, based in Kentucky, those folks there, this is made in the USA. All right, so that is the B3 Archery Exact Target Q2 sight. Great, super precise target sight from the folks at B3. They do things to a super high level there, so it's exciting to see them come out with a target sight like this. Very precise, very well made, excellent sight from B3. If you want to see this sight on our website, be sure you click the link in the description below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. And as always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at LancasterArchery.com.